On the 27th of July, at 2 minutes to 9 in the morning UTC, a machine somewhere solved a block, and the amount of new Handshake created every 10 minutes was cut in half, permanently. No announcement, no countdown stream, no press release. Block 340,000 landed. The supply schedule of an entire naming protocol changed forever. And if this is the first you're hearing about it, you're in the overwhelming majority. You're watching Tendo, and this is everything you need to know about the Handshake halving, what actually changed, the number nobody is quoting, and why this one is different from the last. Here are the details, and you can check every one on any Handshake Explorer yourself. Quick shout out, Shakeshift is a very good explorer, and I recommend that one personally myself. Block 340,000, 27th of July, 2026, 8:59 and 20 seconds UTC. Mined by AntPool. At that moment, the block subsidy dropped from 1,000 HNS to 500. That's the second halving in Handshake's history, and the first was back in April 2023. The maths is simple. Handshake targets 144 blocks each day, so daily issuance went from 144,000 coins to 72,000. Annually, 52.5 million is now down to 26. And unlike Bitcoin's 4-year rhythm, Handshake halves every 170,000 blocks, roughly 3.2 years. But here's the number I want you to take away, because almost nobody is quoting it. From this block onward, only about 170 million HNS will ever be mined. That's not a projection, it's arithmetic. The remaining subsidies will halve forever, and the whole series sums to 170 million. There were around 681 million in circulation at that point, so that is the entire remaining tap. Step back and the picture gets starker. About 510 million HNS has been mined since launch, out of a total of 680 million that will ever be mined. That is exactly 3/4 done. And annual issuance just went from around 7.7% of the circulating supply to under 4%. This is a late stage emission chain, and nobody is treating it like one. Here's the context that most halving coverage will skip. When Handshake launched in February 2020, 2/3 of the supply, 1.36 billion coins, was allocated at Genesis. The biggest slice, around 950 million, was an airdrop to open source developers. Names were also reserved for existing ICANN top-level domain holders and the Alexa top 100,000 names. 4 years on, only about 2.9% of that developer airdrop had ever been claimed. So, in 2025, a soft fork called End Airdrop shipped, and on-chain claims were shut off for good. That cut the maximum that will ever be issued from 2.04 billion to about 961 million, a 53% reduction. If you take into account the number of coins that have already been burned in name auctions, and the working number is closer to 852 million. New coins now come from exactly one place, miners, which is why this halving lands differently to 2023. Back then, cutting the reward was noise next to 1 billion unclaimed coins. This is the first Handshake halving where the block subsidy is the only tap for source of new coins. Right, the part that everyone always wants to talk about, the price. On the day of halving, I pulled the HNS price from 3 different sources and got 3 different answers. 1/10 of a cent, a bit above that, and nearly double the first. Daily volume was somewhere between $6,000 and $28,000. That's thin enough so that a single order will move the printed price. I also know there's other initiatives going around, like liquidity.spot. I think that is being run by Mike Michelini. That's a quick shout out. You've got to forgive me. I've been out of the game for a little bit. I've been a bit busy. But now that I'm back, I'm going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest updates around Handshake and all the good work that is being put in by the community. And the harder truth is, the market cap sits somewhere between $1 and $2 million. The all-time high was 85 cents in May 2021, a long time before I got here, so it's down roughly 99.8%. It sounds bad to hear, but there's already been one halving in 2023, and look where the price went afterwards. Halvings technically don't mechanically pump anything, but a supply cut only matters if there's demand on the other side, and Handshake's demand comes from the names being registered and renewed. One more thing I'd like to cover, because I'd rather you'd heard it from me. Burning that supply wasn't the unanimous win it sometimes gets sold as. An earlier community proposal called Burn Baby Burn polled at 82% in favour, but that was only on 52 votes, and there was real opposition in the thread. The counter-argument was that burning 1 billion coins created no utility and threw away an obvious route to fund protocol development. A compromise that routed 10% into a development fund went really nowhere, and the proposal was closed without implementation. Scarcer isn't always better if nobody's being paid to build, is one argument that people may have. So what's actually worth watching in the weeks after a halving like this? Well, the answer's simple. The hash rate. The network was running somewhere between 800 terahash and a petahash going into this, and I say somewhere because in the days afterwards, most mining calculators still hadn't been updated and were showing the old 1,000 coin reward. Miner revenue fell 50% overnight, so some hash rate may leave. The most interesting part is that Handshake retargets difficulty every single block, not every 2 weeks, so it absorbs miner exits far faster than Bitcoin does, which I would say is a huge positive, and I've seen discussions in the Telegram chat going on about this between some people, and I believe that one person, Jaren, was having an argument kind of saying that even though a large amount of miners could leave in a hypothetical situation proposed to him by someone else, he was kind of defending it, saying that the difficulty will adjust so that the remaining miners can pick up the slack. Now, obviously, we don't want every miner to go and leave and then one guy be left with it, but I guess that's the kind of arguments that are going on back and forth right now between the community, and I think it's important that we all band together and try and make sure that the information that we're giving each other and the work that we're doing is all as accurate as possible. And that's why I try and make these videos like this, to kind of share whatever knowledge that I have and also expand my knowledge by hearing what you guys have to say. So if anyone would like to leave any comments down below, if I'm a bit inaccurate here or there, I'm happy to hear it, and I'm happy to update my videos with the most latest and accurate information that is possible. So then watch the thing that actually decides whether any of this matters. Names. At the halving, there were roughly 6.4 million registered, over 74,000 live auctions, and 21 million transactions across the chain's history. Those numbers tell you whether anyone is actually using a decentralized root zone. Emission is what the protocol pays out, but names are what it's for. So let's land the plane. A naming system that nobody can unilaterally freeze became structurally scarcer, quietly, on schedule, with no announcement. That's an infrastructure fact. It's not a price prediction, and this isn't financial advice. Judge Handshake on adoption, registration, renewal, resolver support, but not on a countdown clock. And I think it also speaks to the fact that Handshake has been running for over 6 years now, completely smooth, completely fine. The technology itself works. It's now up to us and the community to do our part. I've linked the Explorer page for block 340,000, the protocol spec, the soft fork that ended the airdrop, and every price source I quoted in the description. Check every claim for yourself. That's the point. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. That's Tendo out.